Rustus and Annice in the Cheerless Curse, Part 12. So, Lala was headed back to the cave of the Gollywomp Sneevel after finding out her true identity in Gazorgenplatt. Rustus, Annice, and Feisty were also headed back, and so was Prinsauce Nofta, Relivo, and Sweetheart, who had just arrived from Yell War. And all the friends met up with each other outside the cave of the Gollywomp Sneevel, and they were so happy to see each other because it had been days and days, and each had had their own adventures. So they gave each other hugs and were excited to share the things that had happened. And after a while they decided it was time to go in to talk to the Gollywomp Sneevel and find out what they should do next to stop the Cheerless Curse. So they walked into the cave and were expecting the Gollywomp Sneevel to come up and say, "I am the Gollywomp Sneevel," and tickle them. But it didn't happen. The Gollywomp Sneevel just wasn't there. They looked all around.
This is like my Cheerless Curse chapter.
They looked all around. They looked in the cave. They looked outside of the cave. They looked in his crayon garden. But they couldn't find him anywhere. Until, finally, Lala sat down under the rainbow crayon tree to think about where he could have gone. And she saw a note hiding up in the branches. And she went and she took the note and read it. And it said, "Dear Lala and friends, if you find this note, that means I've been kidnapped. That means Humphrey the Wicked Wizard Whale is closer than ever to finishing the Cheerless Curse. Soon everyone will start crying, and their tears will flood the earth and make it so that Humphrey can swim everywhere, and there will be no more land for us to live on. There's only one way to stop him. You and all of your friends need to come help me escape. I'm out on an island off of Buffalorca Beach. Take one of the rainbow crayons with you and come." So Lala took a rainbow crayon, and she showed her friends the note. And Prinsauce Nofta said, "Well, we need to go find him." She was a little bit nervous about taking her baby brother with her, but she had no other choice because the passageway to Yell War was closed. So they went out to the beach, and they saw off in the distance an island, and they knew that's where the Gollywomp Sneevel was. But the problem was they didn't have a boat. Lala had a rainbow crayon, but it was the last rainbow crayon on the tree. And they needed the rainbow crayon to plant to get a rainbow to make a passageway back to Yell War. But Lala thought that she had to use the crayon in order to save the Gollywomp Sneevel in La La Land. So she took the rainbow crayon and she drew a boat. And as she drew the boat, it became real. So all of the friends got on the boat and headed off to sea. They went into the island where the Gollywomp Sneevel was hidden. And when they got there, he said, thank you for coming to save me. Now, look off in the distance, and you can see Humphrey." And they looked off, and they saw a gigantic whale surface out of the water and blow air out of his spout. Air and water out of his spout and dive back in. "You need to stop him," said the Gollywomp Sneevel. "You need to stop him now." "But how?" said Lala. Don't you have a plan for us?" "No, I have no plan," said the Gollywomp Sneevel. "I just know that I had to send you to discover who you were, and now you must come up with the plan." And so everybody thought about what they could do. And Lala felt very anxious and scared because she had a little bit of anxiety. And Rustus felt very scared because he was a scaredy cow. But Prinsauce Nofta was brave, and she thought, and she thought, and she said, "Hey, do you know what we need to do? We need to use our talents and our abilities." You see, she had heard from Lala about her abilities as an elephant, and from Feisty about her abilities as a chickupine, and from Annice about her abilities as a chumming bird. And she thought that they could combine those abilities to stop Humphrey the Wicked Wizard Whale. She thought that because this was a cheerless curse, where everybody was sad, perhaps they could break it if they could make Humphrey laugh. So she started explaining her plan and her theory. Do you know what a theory is?
Mm-hmm.
A theory is an idea of how something might be able to work, and it's something you can test. So she explained her theory to her friends, and when she said that making Humphrey laugh might stop the cheerless curse, Sweetheart said, "Oh, well, let's just tell him a joke." And the next time Humphrey surfaced out of the water, Sweetheart yelled, "Hey, Humphrey, knock, knock!" "Who's there?" said Humphrey. "Water," said Sweetheart. "Water? Who?" said Humphrey. "What are you doing?" said Sweetheart. But Humphrey didn't laugh. It didn't work. "Oh no." "Don't worry," said Prinsauce Nofta. "I have a plan." And she explained her plan that used everybody's special abilities. And so what they did was Lala used her abilities as an elevant to shrink down to the size of an ant. And she climbed on to Feasty's back. And Feasty flew up in the air like an eagle and started circling around. And Annice got up in the air too. And when Humphrey surfaced from the water, Annice used her ability to stop time. And so Humphrey was suspended in the air. It was like he was floating in the air as he had jumped out of the water. And then Feasty used her ability to shoot her feathers like arrows to shoot an arrow feather with Lala riding on it, because Lala was so tiny that she could ride on the arrow. And the arrow shot down towards Humphrey. And she jumped off and landed on Humphrey's back. And then she made herself just a little bit bigger. And when Annice started time again, Lala started tickling Humphrey with all of her might. She tickled and she tickled and she tickled and she tickled. And Humphrey started laughing. And the minute he started laughing, the gray clouds went away. People felt less grumpy. And the cheerless curse was broken. And Lala was able to swim back to shore. And they used the crayon to create a key to let the Gollywump Sneevil out of the cage, and then they took the boat back to shore. But now they had a problem, because Nofta and Relivo needed to get back to to Yell War, and Lala and Sweetheart wanted to go too, but the rainbow was gone. They didn't know what to do. But Lala had just a little bit of the crayon left, so she tried planting it to see if a rainbow would appear, but it didn't happen. "Wait, I have an idea," said Prinsauce Nofta, because Prinsauce Nofta was very good about using her brain to think about things. "What if we plant the boat that was created with the rainbow crayon?" And that's what they did. They buried the boat in the sand, and as soon as it was fully covered, a rainbow appeared. And so Prinsauce Nofta and her baby brother Prince Relivo, and Sweetheart and Lala said goodbye to their friends and climbed up one side of the rainbow and slid back and landed in Prinsauce Nofta's laundry basket. And that is the end of Rustus and Annice and the Cheerless Curse.
Let's go.